In this video, I want to talk about the problem of trying to control. If you're in my coaching community, you may have heard me talk about how needy is creepy. And what that effectively means is when you need a person to become a client, maybe because you don't have money, or maybe because you feel that it's going to create a sense of validation and a sign from the universe that you're on the right path. When you need that energetically, you'll find that it kind of keeps staying away from you. I was watching a video this morning and I thought there was a really beautiful analogy, so I'm kind of stealing it. And it talked about imagining that you're on a drive and you're the passenger and you're 8 years old. And the drive is perfect. The person that's driving knows how to drive the car. They know how to get from where they are to where they need to get to the destination. But in the back seat, you, the 8-year-old in the back seat, take it upon yourself to try and grab the steering wheel. This is a lot like what we're doing in life. I recognize this in myself, that sometimes I'm trying to be overly bearing and controlling of specific outcomes, things that are out of my control. And there's a reason why I use the kind of 8-year-old self in the back seat, is because often our need for control is a childlike pattern, because we perceived control as a child as safe. Like Tony Robbins talks about, we all have 6 human needs, and one of those needs is certainty. The problem with having certainty as the driving force, as like the front need, the number one need, which a lot of people do, a lot of people, why they're in a job, because they think it's more certain. They get a mortgage because they think it's more safe and certain. They just stick to the rules of life because they think it's more safe and certain. But the problem with that is, underneath that certainty, often you'll find with a lot of people, there's a lot of fear. What if I lose the house? What if I lose the job? And so one of the things I've learned is that certainty is really an illusion. Nothing in life is certain. Like, nothing is certain. A job's not certain, a mortgage isn't certain, because if you lose the job, you lose the house. And even if you said, well, I'll go and start a business, even that's not safe. So the goal is not to get certainty on the outside, the goal is to get certainty in the inside. And I could go into Tony Robbins' model of how you do that. Well, one of the ways is you've got to grow and work on yourself, because the more you work on yourself, the more inner certainty you'll have. And the more you then use that growth, use that knowledge to help other people, the more that you'll feel inner certainty. So like, for example, if you think about right now, if you're a multi-billionaire, because you've added loads of value to people's lives, like a Jeff Bezos at Amazon, you may feel more certain because you maybe got more money in the bank. But even that's not certain, right? Because in one area of Bezos's life, he may be certain, but in another one, he's not. Like, didn't he break up with his wife a few years ago? And actually, I think that's a beautiful segue, because if you are here and you're one of our coaches, this is another reason why control is such an illusionary state. Is because if you think about it, if you deliver the best ever initial discovery coaching trailer session, you can't control whether that person buys from you. I regularly get people say to me, like, you know, Miles, I've had loads of trailer calls and people just aren't buying. And we talk about, you know, someone said they couldn't afford it and someone else just said they didn't want it. And I said, like, that's just kind of the way it is. You can't control that. And then what they do is they spiral into this, what that means. And they create a story of what that indicates. And what often that story spins into is that they're not enough. It's not working, they're not working. And often what they do is they just stop coaching. Which is why I'm so, I don't want to say aggressive, but that's the word that came up. I'll go with it. So I'm so aggressive about people not needing clients when they coach, like doing it because they love it. Like a doctor who is on a day off walking through the town centre and an old lady falls over he's on a day off, right? But he doesn't just walk by, he helps her because it's what he does, it's his passion. He's not doing it because he's getting paid. Oh, I'm not getting paid for this patient. Do you go to my surgery? No, okay. Then call 999, sort yourself out, right? He doesn't do that because it's his passion. Think about relationships. Like, you can have the best will and intentions in the world in a relationship, but if the other person has really strong different values and beliefs, it may not work well. You see it in politics, you see it in marriages breaking down, you see it in family dynamics. So control is an illusion. Certainty is an illusion. Nothing in life is certain other than death. Not many other things. We need oxygen to breathe, but other than that, there's not many other things in life that are certain. But if you desperately want certainty, then it's got to come from within. And so what that means is you've got to create that sense of validation in yourself and not have it attached to other people and to outcomes. Because here's an interesting thing I've learned, is that when you get an outcome that is an outcome that you want, sometimes it's really the worst thing for you. Because you get an outcome that you want, but it isn't the outcome that you need. It's really interesting. I've had so many experiences of this. Like, I think about in my business, in my coaching business, like I think about getting clients, like clients that I thought I wanted because maybe they paid me, a significant amount of money. And then because I hadn't really got really clear about who was my ideal client, I end up working with people that I don't enjoy working with. And then it's like I'm dreading coaching them and stuff, right? And then there are clients of mine that I know that would be like their dream, to have people paying them. And that's the dream. It's kind of like, I know why that happened for me. Still sometimes does. There's still an energy underneath there that still happens. But like, when all I wanted was a girlfriend, I couldn't get one because I was needing a girlfriend. But when I did get girlfriends, they weren't the right one. Because I wasn't getting clear about the kind of girlfriend I wanted to be with. Because I wasn't clear about the kind of person I needed to be to attract the kind of girlfriend that I wanted to have. All I was thinking about is, give me a girlfriend. That will be enough. That will create validation. Give me a job, any job. And often that type of just wanting anything will do, is when a person is in a sense of like neediness, control. I was thinking about, and also here's an interesting thing, I'm just going off on a tangent, is that like often we get the thing that we think we want and then we get it, and because the ego often just gets expanded from it, we end up just wanting something else. So a couple of examples I was thinking of, which are amusing as I was thinking about this video. If you've seen Ice Age, have you seen the movie Ice Age? And you've got like the little squirrel and he chases all the nuts and then eventually gets all the nuts and he's happy, and then they go, ah, and he sees this like massive nut and he drops all the nuts to go and chase this big nut. Or you think about like Gollum in Lord of the Rings. These movies, by the way, are sending these messages. They're trying to tell us things that are deeper than maybe sometimes we recognize initially. Like I've watched Lord of the Rings so many times and I didn't get this message, and then I thought about this video and I was like, oh my God, that's so profound. Like Gollum is trying to get the ring, and when he or anybody gets the ring, they actually become really powerful and dangerous. Because the ring is like symbolic of separation, of like the devil, of like danger, of like bad. And nothing good comes from the ring, right? Just power and greed. So that doesn't mean that you shouldn't want things, but it is so important to be aware of the reasons why you want things. If you want things because you think that having it will validate you and make you enough, then the ego will just always want more, like more nuts, more rings, metaphors for what we've just been talking about, right? So more is never enough to the ego. But when you're pursuing because you want to just grow as a human being, that's different. And you know, you may be watching this video, I feel like I've just heard a voice, somebody watching this video said, yeah, well, Miles, but I am wanting to help people. I am trying to make a difference, but it's still not happening. Then trust me, there's still an energetic imbalance in there. And it will be frustrating to hear that, but it won't be you that's frustrated by that. It'll be the ego. Because the ego wants to fight against this type of message. Like, this message is not about me. This message is coming through me because of other things I've watched and learned and listened to. I was just seeing a friend yesterday for coffee, and we're talking about like him modeling other people in videos. And I said I used to have this thing where like I compared myself to other people, so I wouldn't do videos because I was like, oh, people are going to think I'm trying to be like X. And then I realized we were talking about how Tony Robbins created a model of methodology of coaching that was effectively a rip-off of like NLP, right? And so the moral message being no idea is original. And so, you know, when I let go of that, all of a sudden it unlocked, and all of a sudden the frequency of creating content just came back. And now it's like I've been doing a video every day for like the last 2 weeks, right? But I've got to work on that energy to stay in that frequency. So you can control the sails, but you can't control the wind. That's kind of the moral message of this video. Let go of the need for control, because nothing in life is certain, and it is an illusion that certainty is even achievable or possible, especially with coaching. So instead, focus on serving, on helping, on making a difference. Let go of control. Work on your energetic frequency through meditation, through heart coherence work. Work on your energy, work more on yourself than you do on your business. And you'll probably find you attract all the things you want anyway. So anyway, that's it from me. Have a beautiful day. See you next time. Take care.